Hello, everybody. James here, WSI. And before we get to my next guest, I have a couple of plugs, as I always do. The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the People's Champion, my book, who I wrote myself, and it's very good, if I do say so myself. And of course, Owen Hart, King of Pranks. Two fine autobiographies. I wrote them. They're not autobiographies. Messed up the intro already, but fuck it. And to introduce my guest now he's a red-headed Fabio. He's still got kids. Oh, baby, it's Heath. Morning.
Oh, what's up, man?
Oh, man,
The red-headed Fabio. Man, I had no idea how far that damn saying would go, being honest. I wasn't even thinking when I said it, being honest. So that's usually how the magic works.
Where's the genesis of the red-headed Fabio come from?
I mean, that was just because literally back in the day, man, I was a long red-headed stud. I mean, people loved the hair. I had that big, thick lion's mane. The dudes were jealous. The girls were jealous. Man, it was nice.
Yeah, I'm jealous, man.
And that was in my 20s, man. You know, my younger days.
Dude.
But yeah, man, it was. I looked like a Thundercat.
a fine reference. Right? Did you? Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you just turn up to TV one day with short hair?
Oh, you talking about it Raw?
Yeah, like just one day you had long hair, and then the next week you just turned up with short hair.
Yeah, man, it didn't go over too well.
Oh, really?
Oh no, Vince hated it, bro. Yeah, it was one of those things where like I had the long hair for a while, you know, and I wanted to do something different, and I didn't ask for permission, and I just showed up, and I looked like a brand new dude, and everyone's like, "What in the hell happened?" I mean, they're all looking at me like, bro, what? I remember Arn Anderson looked at me and said, "Son, I hope you asked for permission." I said, "I didn't." He says, "Oh, shit." Like that. Yeah, so.
Am I like old school here? But I'm just like, like Edge has done it, Val Venus has done it, you've done it, I'm sure other guys have done it. I just always feel like you should lose it in a hair versus hair match, sort of thing. Or is that
Very
not
true.
Vince's style?
Man, they weren't doing nothing with me anyway at the time. So it's like, my career is legit a roller coaster ride.
Mm.
I'm on the highest of highs and I was on the lowest of lows. So that was a time when I was at the lowest of lows. No one's doing much with me. I'm just, doing BS matches that don't matter. And I said, you know what, screw this, man. I'm just going to change it up. And I loved, I forget the war movie that Brad Pitt was in.
Inglourious Basterds.
His hair might have been.
Yeah.
But his hairdo, I just was like, dang, I like that. I was like, I think that looked good on me. So I went for it, man. Yeah.
How long did it take for the office to forgive you for it?
Dude, I remember, I think it was Michael Hayes came up to me and told me to go and talk to Vince. And I remember walking in there and he asked me why I didn't ask for, like that. You did something really bad. Like you're, discipline your child, and I just straight up told him, I said, Vince, I was done with the long hair. I said, I had it for years. I said, it's ran its course. I said, I just wanted something different, man. And then he literally I guess he understood, because he told me, he was like, well, if you ever do anything drastic like that again, you got to let me know first. I said, yeah, totally. Sorry, my bad. That whole don't ask for permission, but ask for forgiveness thing. That's where it worked for me there a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. The most recent stuff, apart from Impact, is that I've been watching you on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, and I'm not like the biggest wrestling figure collector at all. I had a couple. I've got some real dodgy ass Hulk Hogan NWO knockoff like down there. Right. A couple of others. I've got Don Morocco. I've got Dutch Mantel, because I've had or have podcasts with them both. And
yep.
What's the holy grail that you're looking for?
Brother, I'm really not. Like, being honest, like, you know how, like, man, these two guys has been on toys, like, keeping it secret for years. And I mean years, until it was like they did their little podcast thing and it became over, Yeah. Like, people were like, you know what? I'm a grown-ass man, but I like toys too, damn it. It's like, it was like one of those things. So me being buddies with them in the wrestling business and them doing that stuff, of course, they're like, hey, Heath, just, because we ride together too, So they're like, hey, we're going to do this vlog thing, like, can you be in it? Just come with us, And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So I would just be in the background doing my own shit, but they would record it and people would laugh and like it, So there's like a little saying they always say that like Cardona is the Jordan, Myers is the Pippen, and I'm just like, well, guys, man, I guess I'm the Rodman because I'm the oddball in this group, So it's like, but no, like the holy grail of my like figure hunting is, man, I really don't know what that is because I feel like I got a lot of the stuff that I used to have as a kid now to where I'm like, man, that's cool. So now it's more like me going on these hunts and just finding other things that I'm like, holy crap, I remember that, like that type of stuff. Yeah. So I don't know if I have that holy grail yet, but I know I'm chipping away, and you know what? I might find it after I chip away a little bit. Who knows?
What do you get like nostalgia for as far as like the toys when you were growing up? You look at it 20 odd years later and think, man, that takes me back. Is it like the Bendies? Is it the Hasbros? What is it?
Oh, it's definitely like the LJN and the Hasbros. Like those are the ones that like I remember playing with more than anything. So those for the wrestling toys are the ones where I'm like, that's cool when I see them and stuff. But when it like I like the figures now because they're so realistic and they have so many parts and pieces and stuff to do and all that stuff. So they're really cool. But it's like I'm not that, ooh, I need the Ric Flair or I need the John Cena, or like I don't collect it like that.
No, you're not like a completionist sort of thing.
Not at all. No. Like I'll get what I want and I'll keep it. I'll get this one, all right, I want that. But then I talked to Myers and Cardona. They're like, well, dude, you got to finish the set. I'm like, no, I don't. I got the ones I wanted, But they're that type that's like, if I have this series, I need them all. If I have this series, I need them all. I need a complete set. And I'm totally not like that. I'm more like, man, I want the Sting. I want the, Arn Anderson. I want this or that. But yeah, but they're the ones that has to complete the set.
What is, over the years in WWE and beyond, what's your favourite merch featuring you? Is it going to be a T-shirt? Is it going to be a figure? What's like the one that you just like the most?
I mean, I don't know if it's just because it's recent and it's like more like real to me, but the whole I Got Kids stuff, I thought that was really cool. And people, man, they still talk about the whole I Got Kids. I mean, I'll even go to these shows and they're chanting, he's got kids, So it's something that stuck. But the action figure that I got with the I Got Kids is phenomenal. Great action figure. Great, just the detail on it's great. But then again, it's like Nexus too. Like my beginning stages. Like when I see just the yellow end, and I didn't even know they made bouncy balls of Nexus. Yeah, exactly.
Really?
So yeah, I'm at this convention and I'm walking by these booths, looking at cards, looking at toys, and I see this big thing of just bouncy balls. And I'm looking at them, and it's like all, Stone Cold, The Rock, Cena, all this stuff. And I just see Nexus symbols. I'm like, we had bouncy balls? And I looked at the back, and it was, 2010 and everything. I'm like, what? So I grabbed like 4 of them and bought them. I'm like, I don't have these, man. So it's like, I still see like random things of like Nexus pop up to where I'm like, I had no idea they made this, So it's just, yeah, weird.
Yeah, with the kids, I Got Kids T-shirt. Did you ever like go into a store in the middle of nowhere and find like knockoff versions of that?
Yeah. Actually, it was at a flea market. There's this. I guess it was just this dude had this wrestling shop there, but everything there was knockoff. Like he had his friends made it. And I mean, there was, John Cena shirts, The Rock shirts, NWO shirts. But you're looking at them, it's like, one, there ain't no WWE logo on it anywhere. And you're feeling the material, and you're like, yeah, this ain't the right stuff. But they had the I Got Kids stuff. And I remember I walked in there, and I'm looking at it, and he didn't even know that I was the guy with the I Got Kids stuff. To where I'm like looking and stuff, and he's like, oh, you like wrestling? I'm like,
big fan then.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, maybe, yeah. But it was just funny, because he's probably just selling it because his kids loves the stuff and all that stuff. I don't know.
I'm going to give you one more and about the merch and everything, and you don't have to give me numbers, I understand, but what pays the best in your experience? Is it the computer games? Is it the figures? Is it the T-shirts? Or is it something else that you see the most difference in your bank account?
The video games. The video. There's a story. I ain't gonna put the number out there, but when my very first video game, 2011, I think, 10, 11, 12, somewhere through there. I just remember I thought they made a mistake when I got my check, to where I'm just sitting there like, what the hell? You got to be kidding me. So I remember I was calling the other boys that were in Nexus, being like, hey, did y'all get this or get that? And they're just like, yes, deposit that, put it in the bank now. Like, hurry up and put it in there. But it was just one of those checks to where you're just like, wow, like, this is going to be awesome if it keeps coming in like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it never does, though.
Do you remember the exact like fraction of percentage that maybe a figure or a T-shirt would net you?
Brother, it was nothing. Like, you probably get 50 cents a shirt. I mean, honestly, it's like point blah 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 blah. Like, I don't even know. Like, I would have to totally look it up. But I mean, like, it's really nothing. Maybe like $1 a shirt, if that.
Yeah, I always find it weird that like merchandise was good for 1 year when they first brought out the LJN dolls. I always call them dolls. Sorry, I know people hate that, but I think it's like the first run of the LJN figures, and people were cashing in $80,000 checks a quarter, and then someone in WWF smartened up, and by like the 5 years later, they were making 10 for the exact same amount of sales or something. It's crazy.
Yeah. They did the same thing with the video game check.
Oh,
like
really?
The first two, you were like, holy shit, this is awesome. And then the last ones were like the same.
Yeah.
So where you're just like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, man. And of course they're like, well, last year there was 80 characters. This year there's 150, so, and we're like, man, that ain't, no. You're selling on Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox this, Xbox that, all over the world. Get the hell out of here, man. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh, dude, I know exactly. It's the littlest that they think. They sort of have to gauge the littlest they think they can get away with. And they sort of like a sliding. I get it. We're going to go back to the beginnings now. And first of the fan questions, and I'm going to add to it. Adam Renfro, who inspired you to become a professional wrestler? And who was your guy when you were a kid? Who was your favorite?
Well, I blame the whole professional wrestling thing on my grandfather, man. It's all my grandfather's fault. My mom, too, a little bit. But my grandfather got me into it, man. He watched it every damn weekend. He had me in his lap. He'd take me to the shows that came around our area. Like, I feel like my grandfather's the one that was like, here, wrestling, I love it. You watch it with me, and you're going to like it, too, type deal, But yeah, like, I feel like my grandfather got me and my whole family into it. But then, like, when the shows would come around, my mom would take me also, because then I loved it. And but no, I would totally blame my grandfather for the whole, this is why I'm doing this, But my favorite, from bar none, since day one, was Sting, man. Like, I absolutely love Sting. I love Surfer Sting. I love Crow Sting. I liked it all. Sting was just my guy. I got excited for Sting.
Are you so WCW first and foremost then, beyond WWE? Right, so I'm presuming you went to the shows. Do you remember the first wrestler's hand you slapped as they went down the aisle?
Jeez. I remember back in the day, it was the Rock and Roll Express. You remember this guy? Of course, you remember Flying Brian Pillman.
Of course, yeah.
But you remember Tom Zink?
Yes.
The Z-Man? I remember he was one of my favorites as a kid, too. But I remember going to a show, and I remember the Rock and Roll Express, Flying Brian, and Z-Man. I remember that. That's probably the first guys I remember actually at the guardrail touching, And I remember I got to touch the Great Muta once when I was a kid, and I got to touch Sting, too. And this was like Surfer Sting, not Crow Sting, So, yeah, but I want to say like some of the first ones was probably the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express, There was this group called the Southern Boys, like Tracy Smothers was in the group. I remember they were some of the first guys. The Freebirds, I mean, hell, Michael Hayes tried to pick up my mom. So that's a pretty funny story in its own. But yeah, man, it was like I was literally all NWA, WCW growing up, just because they would always come to my area,
With well, actually, that's going to be a question ahead. Speaking of the area, but we're going to say name not important, as he seems to have identified himself. What was Mr. Hughes like as a trainer, and what were his favourite party spots in Atlanta?
His party spots?
Yeah, it sounds a bit weird when it's written like that, doesn't it? It sounds maybe somewhere on the body, but I think maybe like somewhere in Atlanta that you went for a drink.
Oh, honestly, like I never drank with Hughes back in the day. Like he was trainer, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't really like he wouldn't go out with us. Like I mean, don't get me wrong, I went out, but like he never went out with us. He was more of a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
But Hughes, man, Hughes was good. Hughes got me out in front of the crowd for the first time, and he taught me, all the basics that I needed to go out there to put together a match and explore a little bit, So, but no, Mr. Hughes, when it comes to teaching you the basics, the ropes, the ring awareness, and everything, he's great for that. But nah, man, we never went out to party or together or nothing. But I do remember a place back in the day in Atlanta called Mako's, and it was I think it was near Buckhead. But man, that place was the hot spot every Friday and Saturday. I remember you would get these fish bowls just full of whatever drink it was, and you just walk around with this damn legit fish bowl. Oh. You just be sipping on it, walking around, and having a good time.
Dude, we went through the fishbowl phase here when I was like 18, 19. Oh, it's just like sugar-packed stuff, man.
It totally was.
I didn't write this down, but was the whole strip club thing a sort of like a relic of the 90s and 80s and stuff, or did the wrestlers in the 2010s still do that?
What, right now?
Maybe when you sort of broke into WWE around 2010, was that like the scene still or not?
I mean, you would probably go here and there, but we were more like, dive bar / dance clubs. Like that, because, well, I hung out with PJ a lot, or PJ Black, Justin Gabriel.
Yeah.
So he was always that dance rave guy, so he loved that stuff. So he would always go out, and I'd go out with him, but I was never all into it like that. But he would be out there just having a blast. But no, it was, I remember the school that Mr. Hughes would train at, WWA 4, it was connected to a strip club called Club Wax. I'm serious. So we would literally be in there training and be hearing all the music, next door, then playing. And then, like, literally, it was connected. So there's a door where, like, the strippers and the bouncers would come through, and they would have to come through where we were at. So, I mean, there would be times where girls be walking around in lingerie, girls just be walking around naked, and you're just like, what the hell? And if you are taking bumps in the ring and, shorts, no shirts, sweaty and nasty, and here you just look up and here comes like, 2 girls in lingerie walking by just to go through their part to go to their part. And I'm just sitting there like, damn, this is all right now.
Hey, and remember, everybody, Curtis Hughes has still got a training school, so is it still in the same place?
It's not. No.
Oh, you saved him. Well, you saved him some signups there.
Yeah, right. I don't even know if Club Wax is even still a thing. It might be. Who knows? But Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton Industrial Boulevard, guys, go check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Due to time constraints, we're going to sadly skip the first 6 years of your career. So,
all right.
You get into WWE Development System after a couple of years on the Indies, first in Deep South 2006, and then Florida Championship Wrestling. And in 2010, WWECW is killed off, and the original concept of NXT is born. Now, got quite a few NXT questions. What was the first time? Did you have to sign up? Did you have to put yourself forward to do NXT? I mean, what was the whole score with that?
Man, what I think happened was ECW dropped and they had an hour to fill. You know what I mean? They had an hour. So they're like, well, her developmental system is overflowing. So they called down to Steve and Dr. Tom and said, hey, man, I need you, your best 8. Whoever your best 8 is, I need them. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, man, I got shuffled up in there. And, man, NXT was one of those things where, like, when you're in the moment and you're, oh, this is my time, this is my spot, this is my chance, like, you go all in. But when you go all in and they don't go all in, like, for the product, to where they explained it to us, it was going to be like a wrestling show with pros to help you type deal, But they never said you was going to be doing no damn keg carrying contest, damn a promo where you're in the middle of the ring for 1 minute and they're going to give you a word and you have to try your best and be embarrassed. They didn't, the obstacle courses and the eating contest, like all the bullshit, like they didn't tell us none of this. They said it was going to be a wrestling show where you can go out there and perform. We had no idea that all this other stuff was in on it, So, I mean, like literally every episode, we had no idea we were getting eliminated. We had no idea what was happening. We would show up and they're just like, hey, we got something cool planned today. And we're like, well, what is it? I don't worry, we'll get with y'all later. And we're just like, what the hell? So it's like, it was just I don't even have the word for it, man. It was just a big confluffle.
It's sort of like a bit like Ninja Warrior in bits, wasn't it? Where you have to do all these like weird obstacle courses, and then how did you end up being matched with a pro? I take it as the young boy, you weren't told, you didn't get a say. You basically got who you got.
Yeah, man. Like literally, they sent out a text saying, it was either SmackDown, Raw, whatever. Hey, man, the new show, NXT, pros, blah, blah, blah. Watch tonight and you're going to see who your pro is. So we're just like every fan watching, oh, crap, who am I going to get? What's going to happen, And then you would see, your pro and then who would come up. And you're like, holy crap, I'm with Christian. Wow, like we actually get along a little bit. So it's kind of cool. So it was one of those things to where, like, we had no idea either. I mean, hell, they probably didn't know until the day before. So, so it was like while you guys saw it, like everyone that was watching, that's exactly how we found out.
I have an NXT fact for you that involves you. You were the first rookie to beat a pro when you defeated Carlito.
That's true, man. Yeah. I was the first rookie to have an undefeated streak of like 5-0 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that they didn't know what to do with me. And they're just like, hey, man, the people like him a little bit, man. Let's just keep pushing with him. Let him keep winning, The first person that got to beat me was Kane, Yeah. So the whole thing they said was, hey, there's a keg carrying contest. I'm a country boy, man. I've carried kegs since high school. So it's one of those things I'm like, man, I got this shit, And I did, and I won it. But they tell you in the back, hey, if you win, you got immunity. Like you can't get eliminated next round. Well, I guess the clock was ticking too short, and we still had like 10 minutes of airtime. Oh. And they're like, well, Heath, you're going to have to wrestle Kane. And I'm like, huh? What do you mean? And they're like, you're wrestling Kane. Y'all got 6 minutes. Like, hurry up, get ready. And I'm just sitting there like, Then they're pulling me in. They're pulling me into this room. I think I was doing like push-ups and warming up. Like, oh, he has a big match against Kane. He won the keg carrying contest. He gets to wrestle Kane. I'm like, that is not a damn reward. Like the big red machine. Like, come on, what the hell, people? Like, like have the person in last place wrestle Kane, not me. But dude, it was. I literally remember doing the push-ups and they're recording me, and they're like, this rookie, he's getting ready. And then Glenn is over here waiting for me to get done. And then once the camera went off, he's like, come here. Can you do a missile drop kick? Can you do a cross body? Can you do he's just naming these moves? I'm like, yep. Every one of them. What do you want to do? He's like, just listen to me out there. And brother, my music hit and I'm walking down the ramp. And I'm just like, thank God he is a gracious man, that he is such a good person that he already had a little match planned in his head. And he just asking me, like, hey, can you do these? I'm like, yes, I can. He's like, all right, well, I'm going to make sure I call them out for you, So he held my hand, he didn't have to. He could let me go out there and fall on my face, but he held my hand and helped me. So I'm always graceful for that, or grateful, for Glenn doing that for me, just because, like, that tells you that he's a good person, He didn't have to do that.
Is that the first time you've ever been sort of thrown to, I mean, obviously on national TV, international TV, but is that the first time you've ever had a match where you had no idea what you were getting into until you hit the ring?
That on TV, yes. That was the time where I'm like, you can't tell because, you try to hide those emotions and you got to look ready. But, man, I was scared shitless out there. I didn't know what the hell was happening. I didn't. I was literally just hoping for the best, just like, don't hurt him. Make sure you're on your cue, like, make sure you got your stuff. But I want to say that was honestly probably the first time I was literally thrown in the fire. And, like, I mean, you got to remember, man, I was on TV maybe 5 times. And they're just like, let's see if this guy can get burned or not, Toss me right in there.
Did you get the old backslapping from the agents afterwards? You did a good job, kid, that kind of thing?
Honestly, I don't even remember, man. But I do remember Glenn coming up to me saying, man, good job. Thanks for listening. Thanks for trusting me and everything. And I'm just like, of course. Thank you, man. No, thank you. But if he told me I did a good job with him, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, from Kane as well, because, I mean, he as big as he is, he can have a match with anybody as well, which is incredible. We're going to go to the Nexus now. I know I've said beforehand, hey, there's going to be some questions that you've heard a lot of, and these are some of them. First, you heard of the Nexus and who pitched it to you. Say pitched it to you, but who told you were doing it, essentially?
Brother, we didn't know anything. It was one of those things to where NXT was wrapping up. Elimination. It came down to Wade, Gabriel, and Otunga, because I think I was the one eliminated right before that. And then I remember Wade won it, but then they never told us shit. They never told us, hey, we got this plan for you. They never told us anything. The only thing they told us was, hey, go back to Florida and, we'll get in touch with you. You know what I mean? So it was like one of those things to where we're all scratching our heads and we're just like, oh no, we're going to be stuck in developmental forever now. Like, did we shit the bed? like what's happening here? Like, we didn't know. And then I remember it was Miami, Florida, and they called us all down there to where I'm like, well, I'm guessing they're going to tell us what's going to happen to us, face to face instead of over the phone, which they wouldn't. And they would. They would just email you, say, hey, keep your ass in Florida. They wouldn't even give a shit. But dude, I remember we all went down to Miami and we went into Vince's office and it was all 8 of us. And it was Vince, Hayes, Arn, Laurinaitis, Pat Patterson, like all the high ups, with all the crap. And I remember Vince literally said, hey guys, I got an idea. We're going to call you the Nexus. You're going to be a group. I want y'all to be like a pack of wolves. I want y'all to be like hyenas on a prey, like just telling us like, hey, man, this is what I want. He literally pulled out the armbands, passed them around to all of us. And he literally pretty much said, I want y'all to destroy everything inside the barrier. And I remember we just all sitting there looking around like, oh, shit, like, this is happening. Like, is this really happening? Like, what's going on? Like, we're all confused, And I remember he said, the only thing I want y'all not to do is don't hit a fan and don't touch a camera, And we're just like, done, He's like, but honestly, I want you to make the inside of that bowl look like a bomb went off. So we just was like, okay, all right, we can do this. And the only people that knew that whole damn night was Cena and Punk. That was it, So next thing you know, like, we're still in our little suits, walking around, this and that. It was like a match before Johns went out. We all had this like little shit, janitor's closet. We're literally taking our suits off, putting on our gear. And they put everybody in Gorilla, to see it. And then they took us all around the bowl so we can go in at the angles. And yeah, man, that's pretty much how it happened. Like, we showed up at Raw and they said, all right, guys, I hope you're ready. Hey, thrown in the fire again. Here's a perfect example.
Was this?
But it was live on television, the prime hour of Raw. And think about it, man. It's been what, 12 years? And people still talk about this shit.
Yeah.
And what blows my mind is that, like, if there wasn't so many egos involved years ago, Nexus would have lasted longer than 7 months. You know what I mean? But there's too many egos, and we were 8 young kids coming up, ready and firing at all cylinders, to where, like, they kind of stopped the momentum, man.
Was now I've got a terrible memory. I'm not like loads of other people who can pluck all the dates out of the air, but is this also the one where Daniel Bryan did the tie thing with Justin Roberts?
Same night, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Same night.
Do you? I suppose because obviously you didn't do it, but do you remember the reaction to him doing the tie strangling thing and what happened in the back afterwards?
Well, Justin Roberts was getting strangled by the tie, and I'm right in front of him, smacking him in his face. So I was right there for it, bro. I was right there. But the thing is that the only direction we got, don't touch a fan, don't touch a camera. Daniel did nothing wrong, man. Daniel did nothing wrong. Daniel did everything that he wanted to do and could have done and get away with it. I don't really know the whole story behind how and why he got released. Maybe the whole choking thing is against the law or the rules up there. And, you know, he spit on John Cena too, and that was like a no-no. You know, so it's like one of those things where, like, he didn't have to get fired for it, you know? You know, and it's funny because they told us to get on camera, well, Wade anyway, and say that Daniels kicked out because he wasn't, you know, aggressive enough. And I'm like, brother, that don't make sense. He's the most aggressive, you know what I mean? So it was just one of those things where you're like scratching your head like, what? But no, man, it was one of those things where I feel like, if anything, they should have just reeled him in and that's it, you know? But then again, who knows if he would have been as over as he was if he didn't get fired and come back at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it did help him. You know, maybe it helped him overall. You know what I mean? So who knows?
Yeah, it made that look like the fans clamour for him even more, maybe.
Yeah. So it worked out for him, but I don't feel like what he did should have got him fired, though.
This question came up from the fans more than any other. What was it like working with John Cena and various versions of Heat with John Cena?
Okay, Cena was always cool with me. Like, he was. Like, I don't have a bad thing to say about John. But the one thing that I know about John Cena is that he is about John Cena. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which any person would be if you're in this environment. But I've never been that me guy. I've been more like, hey, let's spread the love. You know what I mean? Let's spread it out a little bit, man. I can help you. You can help me, this and that. But, like, you can honestly say, like, with John, it's like, I'm doing this. This is what I got to do. I'm sorry, you know, if I step on your toes, you know. But like I said, like, if I ever needed to talk to John, he talked to me, you know. Like, if I ever, like, had a problem and, like, I'm scratching my head and he can notice, like, he's always aware. Like, he knows his surroundings. He'll come up to me like, hey, man, what's up? You know, and I'll just be like, He's like, no, I know what that means, you know, and he's cool with me. So, like, the man John talking bullshit with him, he's cool, dude, man. He really is. Yeah. But when it comes to John Cena, the professional wrestler, brother, in his mind, he's Superman, and no one's going to change that shit, you know?
I remember, this isn't about Jake Hager. We interviewed Jake Hager like a week or so ago on the Dutch Mantel channel, and he briefly mentioned it as well, but I think it was something to do with Wade Barrett, I think. This is off the top of my head, and I believe Cena did the Super Cena thing, as you alluded to.
Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. We will move on.
That's why they call him Super Cena.
Exactly, man. Exactly. We will move on, and this is something I don't know. Polite Cat asks, ask Heath what he knows about planned Nexus 2020 reunion in WWE, or was it just a rumor?
Nah, yes. Let's just say it was a rumor. but it was a rumor that could have been true, you know?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So they were going to do a documentary, about Nexus. But the only people they could get was Wade, Darren Young, and I want to say that was it. Tarver, I don't think they asked Tarver. Ryback and WWE just don't have a great relationship. And I was signed with Impact. Gabriel was signed with Ring of Honor. And I don't even know what DB was doing. Maybe DB was supposed to be in it too because he was still with WWE, maybe. I forget. But anyway, they wanted to do a documentary, pretty much saying NXT into Nexus. Oh, wow, it was awesome and crazy. But it never got to come out to where it's like it was supposed to come out, but then again, we were supposed to be at whatever that NXT was. You know how they do, like, the NXT before the WrestleMania, whatever the big blow-off show for NXT is. Mm-hmm. So we were supposed to be front row. We all show up. They're looking like, what the hell's happening? And then we pretty much do what we did in 2010. But it didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have thought they would have been able to get you with Impact because they've done trades here and there with Impact before. Or was that just not happening back then?
Oh, well, I mean that was 2 years ago, so maybe 2.5. So it was one of those things to where, like, obviously they didn't come up with an agreement, so they told me no, I can't do it. So.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. You never know. In a couple of years, maybe they might be back on good terms with Ryback, and it can all happen again. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, maybe.
Fingers crossed, right?
All right, maybe not then. Okay, we're going to talk about the legends and stuff like that, and then we're going to have the first of our two name association style games. But legends gimmick first. Jesse, how was it pitched to you that it's to him that he was going to get squashed by legends each week for several weeks on TV? Now, I believe that's not true. You were the one who came up with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, man. So the whole story behind that is that I randomly showed up, and this was leading up to Raw 1000. So I randomly showed up at Raw. I go to talent relations where you always got to them, check in and all that shit. So you check in and everything. They have a rough draft of the card of what they think is going to happen. Usually they change it 4 times that day, So you look at the card and you're looking, and I'm looking, and it's like Heath Slater versus Vader. And I look, I'm like, Go to Corrado, I'm like, hey man, since I'm working Vader, like, you got like a little person dressed up to squash me, or do you have, like, what's happening? He's like, nah, man, you're working Vader. And I was like, you talking about Big Van Vader? He's like, who else do you think? And I'm like, what the hell? What? And so I asked him, I'm like, why me? What's going on? He was like, well, leading up to Raw 1000, we're bringing in legends to, put them over, give them a good thing, this and that. I said, are they all with me? He's like, no. He's like, you'll do Vader. Someone else will do this. I said, no. I said, this is what we're going to do. I was like, how about you just let me be anti-legend? Screw the old guys. It's their turn. I'm not no young boy no more. These old guys need to get the hell out and leave room for me. And he was like, man, I don't know. Just go to Vince and pitch it. So I'm like, all right. So I just walked right to Vince's room, knocked on the door, walked in. He was like, yeah, Heath, what's up? I said, you got like 2 minutes? He was like, yeah, I got 5 for you. I said, great. I sat down. He likes to bullshit with the boys, man. He's like one of those guys most of the time, not all the time. He's a business dude too. So I go in and I pitch him the idea. Hey, man, I heard leading up to Raw 1000, you're bringing legends in each week. Let me be the guy that you feed them to, man. Let me talk junk about them. They need to get the hell out. We don't give a damn about legends. It's airtime, this and that. He looked at me. He was like, you're willing to do that? And I'm like, damn right, I'm willing to do that. Like, I'm going to relive my childhood here, And he was like, so you're telling me you're okay with them coming in, just beating you and this and that? I was like, Vince, if you give me a 2-minute promo and let me have 4 minutes with them, bro, I said, that'd be amazing. And he says, okay, all right, you can have that, brother. And then Vader happened. After Vader, Sid Vicious. After that, it was like Roddy Piper and Cyndi Lauper, with Wendy Richter. Then it went from Animal from Road Warriors, Rikishi, DDP, like Doink the Clown. Like, and it was one of those things I'm just like, holy hell, this is amazing, you know? Like, I remember being scared of Vader and Sid when I was a kid, being on the guardrail looking at them, being like, what the hell? They're huge. And now I'm in the ring with them talking shit, and then they're coming with my ass. But it was like, that was the times I liked to get my ass whipped. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a good moment, cool exposure. I got to be in the ring with legends that I grew up admiring. You know what I mean? So, and it got me good respect with them too, man, because like I've got so many friends that like I would never think would be my friends, you know? Like I never thought I could just call Bret Hart. I never thought I could just call Arn Anderson, you know what I mean? Just talk to, you know, Taker, you know, like it's just wild how it works out.
It's also a huge sort of stamp of approval from the company, because if you're going to be working with legends, you must already have a reputation of being very safe working with them.
Brother,
in the first place.
I take pride in that, man. I take pride in not hurting the other guy. I mean, trust me, you know, we might put on that front, we might make it look good and all that stuff, but like, man, the worst thing in the world is when we try to, or when we hurt one of our dance mates, you know, like one of our partners out there. But dude, I take damn pride in not hurting nobody, man. I mean, I'll make it look like I killed you, but you ain't gonna feel it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, man. It's an art behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of making it look good, I've heard from more than one person that when Bob Backlund slaps on that crossface chicken wing, damn, you feel it.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I felt it. He put it on me.
Yeah.
Hey, but Bob, 100% is probably one of the kindest souls in the world, man. Like just a genuine, very good guy. Odd cat, odd, but my goodness, man, heart of gold.
Aside from Bret, I'll mention Bret in a minute, but of all the legends that turned up, I think at Raw 1000, you interacted with them so many in the run up to that. Who was your favorite? You've got to have one favorite.
Brother, I'm telling you right now, that I don't have a favorite. Like it was one of those so surreal moments to where like I wrap it all up in a bubble just so I can keep it. I don't have like, oh, Sid or Vader. I just wrap it all up and do this. You see what I did? Look at this, you know? But no, it was literally, they all were a blast. They really were. I mean, the ones that really shook me up, I mean, I had a promo with Piper, man. And Piper's like one of the best promo guys ever, you know? And I mean, I got to be in the ring with the giants of giants, the legends of legends, the people that you don't forget about over the years. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they were all so nice to me. Yeah, I heard Vader was an asshole back in the day, but I got Teddy Bear Vader. I heard Sid Vicious was a hell of a damn shithead back in the day, but he was kind as hell to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has opinions, and there's different scoops of ice cream everywhere. But my situation with all of that, with leading up to Raw 1000, man, I had a time of my life, and every one of those dudes were mad cool with me.
If you cast your mind back, this was over 10 years ago now. Do you remember if there was a legend that was initially booked or something like that, and then just at the last minute they couldn't come and they had to be replaced? Was there like a legend that just didn't quite make the cut?
Honestly, I don't think so. Dude, every person that I mean, you gotta remember it's Raw. Like when they're like, "Hey, bro, you want to come to get booked for Raw?" I'm pretty sure they're gonna cancel everything else on the side so they can make that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But honestly, like they never. I don't recall of them telling me, "Oh yeah, we're bringing in this guy to do it," but they're not going to do it. You know. But I can honestly say now I've been trying to get in the ring with Ricky Morton. And he's been dodging me 2 different times now. Ricky, what's up with you? Yeah, I'm calling you out.
He's going to be there soon as well. He's going to be sat in that seat quite soon as well. Maybe have to make a run in.
Man, maybe, man. He better bump.
Who's the better bumper, you or Ricky?
Probably Ricky. No, I remember watching Ricky and studying Ricky when I was in developmental in Deep South. I would watch Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and Ricky Morton, man. And I'd just be watching how they would move, how they would register things, how they would sell. Yeah, man. I studied him.
One more on it. Billy Jacks asks, did the Legend Killer angle bring his biggest payoffs? In other words, did you make more money taking finishes from retired legends than you did completing complete matches with current workers? Sorry.
No.
Oh.
Brother, you sign a deal, you say you sign a $500,000 deal. You make that, cut up weekly. You know what I mean? So it don't matter who you work, when you work, what you work. You get paid the same, just whatever contract you sign. I might not have a match that week, but I still get paid. Mm-hmm. I might have 3 matches the following week, and I still get paid the same. It's just how it goes.
Okay. I mean, I think the guy asking this is sort of like in the old school, you get paid on the house kind of thing, which...
when I first started, like up in WWE, man, like when I very first started, it was like that. You get paid what you work.
Oh, really?
And then they started like signing everybody, like everyone underneath the sun with stuff, to where, you wouldn't get paid what they offered you.
Okay, we're going to move on to our first of 2 games. And name association. I'm going to give you a sentence, a description, and you give me the first name that pops into your head. It can be anyone in wrestling, doesn't have to be just WWE. And the first one is funniest person in the locker room.
Me.
You can't say yourself. I forgot about that one.
Doc Gallows.
Is it just him 24/7, always funny, or has he got specific jokes or what?
Nah, it's him, man. It's just him.
The last man standing at the bar drinking.
That used to be me, being honest.
What's your drink, man? What's the go-to tipple?
Dude, right now I'm just a light beer type of dude, man. I just like my light beer. Let me have a few and I'm good. Before it was vodka, rum, shots, whiskey. There's a lot of shit, man.
There's rainbow stew in there.
But no, last man standing at the bar at this moment that I could think of, Gallows would definitely be one. But a wild man is a little Crazy Steve. You know Crazy Steve?
Hey, I know the name.
He's on Impact, man.
Yes,
Crazy
I know
Steve,
exactly who he is. Yeah,
that little dude can go.
I know you're married and you've got kids, but
Yep.
The most beautiful lady wrestler valet in real life.
Oh dang! The most beautiful lady valet
or wrestler, just worker in general.
Oh boy. Let's come back on that one.
Okay, then.
I'm there's just so many women running through my head now.
Biggest bully
in wrestling?
Yes.
Shoot. Like, I never got bullied, though, I don't think. Like, if I did, it was jokingly, and I'd stand up for myself, and they laugh it off. So it was it wasn't like I never got bullied, but like I remember back in the day, I felt like Bill DeMont was like a training bully, but he really whipped us just into shape to where we never blew up and we would never blow up, So it like kind of helped us too.
That's like drill sergeant stuff, though, isn't it? More like
100%, yeah. But that's how he got trained. So of course he's going to train that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. I hear JBL was a big bully, and which he will even admit, but he's always been really cool with me, So it's like, nah. But like when I think of like a bully that like picks on people, like I haven't really dealt with that.
Yeah. We'll move on.
I mean, I'm sure there are, but like for me, nah.
Yeah.
Unless I got thick skin, I don't know.
You've got to have thick skin, though, really, to be in wrestling, surely. I mean, if not the wrestlers, you've got all the fans on your back anyway, so.
You're damn right.
Yeah. The best ribber.
Dude, damn, Curtis Axel, Joe Henning. Of course it's a Henning, But man, Joe Henning would rib you every chance he got. Alpha Jr. from the Samoans, like Alpha's senior son, Alpha Jr., man, he's a huge ribber. Damn.
Give us an example
Brian
of what they
Myers,
used to do.
Myers will rib you too. Yeah.
Give us
Yeah.
a
Hornswoggle's little shit ass. He likes to rip that little asshole, man.
give us
Yeah.
some examples then of maybe a rib you were caught with.
Dude, all right. I remember one time I was in developmental, and this was when me and Alpha Jr. was literally just becoming friends. And I couldn't find my boots anywhere. I couldn't find my damn boots. Like I'm looking, I thought I damn didn't pack them. You know, all that stuff. My match is literally like, it might have been next up. And I remember Alpha came over. It's like, dude, you still haven't found your boots? And I'm like, no, what the fuck? You know, like, damn it. You know, and he was like, dude, I saw a pair over here by the steps. Brother, they were in the entrance way, like where we would walk through the gorilla spot to go to the little, they're like right there to where he would be like, well, he's going to see him when he goes to the ring, you know? Dude, and that asshole, man, I remember I grabbed him. I was like, dude, thanks. And he's just laughing. And I'm like, you son of a dude. I remember I swung on him. I was hitting him and everything. And then I'm like, put my boots on, and then I'm like, oh, and then my music's hitting at the time, so I'm trying to rush out. And that was in developmental, man. So like the ribs just grew, you know, going forward in life.
The next one, everyone's got an answer for this one. The smelliest wrestler.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you though. Vader, his gear kind of reeked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember smelling it, and all I did was smell like, you know, like that little mildew sweat. Ryback's gloves that he had on his hands. Ugh. I remember in a battle royal, bro, he would like eliminate you, but he would put his hands like in your face to where you're like, dude, get it out. His gloves, it was his gloves, man. Stunk.
You probably eliminate yourself with those gloves then, probably to get away from them, maybe.
He would come at me like that, and I would just jump over the top rope, man. Like, you can go and fight John Cena, man. I don't care.
Now, a lot of people have pled the fifth on this, and you can as well. Biggest stooge for the dirt sheets?
Probably Fandango.
What? Really? I've never heard that name before.
No, man, not at all.
All right.
You know, hey, it's funny though, because that's one of his favorite words to use. He'd be like, man, that damn stooge. Look at that stooge over there. So as soon as you said stooge, he popped in my head.
Yeah, that's probably the best answer I've ever had.
Dude, honestly, man, like I don't know who stooges off to the dirt sheets, but it's somebody. And I'm sure it's probably, you know, a wrestler, a referee, someone that's on the writing team, you know, like who knows? Because like, you know, some of the dirt sheet writers, but you know, the wrestlers aren't really too close unless you do them before you got in type shit, you know, but like, honestly, I don't know, but it's one of those things to where like, you can't keep a damn secret to save your life when it comes to wrestling just because of the internet and the people that's spreading everything on it. So it's like, come on, guys, cut it out. Let it be a surprise, man.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Most in trouble with The Office?
Me?
For what?
Oh, you're talking about in all?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit, most in trouble with The Office? I remember back in the day, Randy used to be a lot. Orton. But he got away with a lot of shit because he's like great. Most of Miz, the Miz used to get in a lot of trouble back in the day. But it was all innocent trouble, you know. But I remember he would always get jumped on. PJ Black, he get in a lot of trouble just because he's that guy like, well, mate, I don't want to do it, so I ain't gonna do it. You know, so he's that type of dude. But no, but I mean, like trouble, like that. It's more like, you know, it's like sometimes high school shit. You get sent to the principal office. Oh man, my bad. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And then you're on your way, you know.
Stiffest.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. Those European boys, they can lay it in. You know, Sheamus, he lays it in. He lays it in safe, but it hurts. Man, and I ain't gonna lie, man, with me being at Impact, Eddie Edwards is probably one of the best workers there. I mean, overall, like, he can go anywhere and just fit in. Like, he is good. But man, his chops, and I mean, of course, chops, you're supposed to lay it in. Like, I lay my chops in. I hit you as hard as I can with it, you know. But he has like damn sledgehammer hands, man, to where like he'll bounce your soul off the rope and it'll come back in your body, man. So, dude, when he throws that chop, just know it hurts like a son of a bitch.
This one sort of relates to it. The hardest deliverer of weapon shots. Who like really lays in the weapon shots?
Brother, I haven't like my style isn't really with weapons and stuff, you know. Like, I haven't been in so many like hardcore matches. Like, I've been in a couple, but I mean nothing to where I could say, damn right, that shit hurt. You know, but like I remember one time Big Show hit me with a chair and it like sent like this shock feeling like down my spine through my legs. Cena hit me with a chair once and it hurt like hell. But then again, it's like, it's a damn chair, man. You're getting hit with a legit chair you buy at Home Depot. Oh no, man, that chair is made out of aluminum. The hell it is, man. That's steel. That shit hurts, you know. And it just is funny to me where people think like, oh, that's a fake chair, and it's not at all. We just try to put it as safe and as flat as we can on your back.
Yeah. The nicest person in wrestling.
And there's a few. I want to say I am in that category because I try to treat people the way that I like to be treated. One of the nicest guys I've met recently is Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin is just a lovely human being, man. Just a great guy. Yeah, recently, yeah. But then again, like, I feel like, oh man, I can go on. There's a lot of good guys out there, man. There really is. There really is. But recently, I would say Chris Sabin. And let me tell you the story. So at Impact, there's a cameraman there. Sabin was doing some dive, and the cameraman's in the wrong spot. He got hit by Sabin. Boom. Of course, you know, they carry on the match. But in the back, the cameraman was like hurting like his leg or something, was like sore. And he just was like, yeah, I was in the wrong spot. And I'm like overhearing him say it. And he was like, yeah, but the guy that hit me, man, he apologized and made sure I was okay. And he was such a kind gentleman. And I look over and Ross, he's like the guy like behind the scenes there. And I was like, who hit him? Chris? Next thing you know, Ross looked at me like just shook his head. I said, I knew that would be Chris apologizing, asking him if he's okay. So it was like in the middle of a match, he's running through a spot, little mess up, but he made sure, you know, that the cameraman's okay and like just broke kayfabe. Like, oh shit, bro, you good? Like, you okay? You all right? You know, and that's just how he is, you know.
With do you know what? That's actually an interesting like production tidbit. Is that the cameraman only allowed to go within a certain space on the floor, and you're all told not to do any dives or anything on that portion of the floor?
I mean, you have to. It's one of those things where like you try your best not to, but you still sometimes end up on that side, and you still got to go through with your shit. You just hope to God you can at least look at him for a second, like, dude, move the hell out the way, you know. But sometimes you don't get that chance, and you just still got to go for it, so you don't look like an idiot. You know, but no, you do try to plan around them for sure.
I'm going to give you a few more, then we'll move on to... actually, we'll have a tiny quick break after I give you a few more. Best and worst celebrities you worked with in WWE?
Honestly, the celebrities that I've met has been cool. Snoop Dogg's probably one of the coolest guys. I feel like Snoop's probably the coolest dude, the coolest celebrity I've met. Just laid back, cool, chill, give you his time, you know, talk to you. Another like The Rock, you know, like my kids don't even know The Rock from wrestling. They know him from movies. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that were like, even though that I don't see The Rock, but like once in a blue moon when I was up there, he would still shake my hand and know my name, you know, to where I'm just like, holy crap, this is really cool, you know, to where like I feel like he should actually run for president because he'd probably be a damn good one, you know, but it's just like, he was such a kind just a kind human being, and he's just so nice to everybody. Like, no wonder he's like so far ahead of what he's doing and so dedicated at what he does. But no, and I forget the one guy's name, but it was back in that show that has vampires versus werewolves, and I'm not talking about the movie, the
Twilight.
not that, but it was a television show, and it was werewolves and vampires. And all right, my wife, I always like to look at her when I see her celebrity crushes and doing this. Yeah, he's about that tall, like all that stuff. I love doing that to her. Ryan Phillippe. Okay, my wife thinks he's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, from what was the film with Sarah Michelle Gellar? What's the famous one?
Yeah,
I know exactly who it is. Yeah,
Cruel Intentions.
Yes, that's a great film.
All right, so she always thought he was the cutest thing, and I met him. He was such a nice dude. But, he's a little guy. So I just was like, yeah. He's like this, and she's like, man. But whoever this werewolf dude was that she liked, I forget his name. He's like the stud werewolf in the show. Dude, I remember when he walked in, he was like a special guest up there. Dude, he's like 6'5", built like they're on, a stud. He walked in, I'm just like, damn, who's that? And then I figured out who it was. So I was like, hey, babe, got to give it to your man, he's a standout, And she was like, oh, okay, So, yeah. But no, man, pretty much all the celebrities, they enjoy wrestling and they just want to go up there and have a good time.
Yeah.
Cyndi Lauper, another dude, she's amazing. Like, such a sweetheart.
I'm trying to think. There's a few here that I can't let pass. Most memorable thing you saw happen on an airplane?
On an airplane?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't even know if I want to say this, but I remember we were going overseas once, and man, I remember I just woke up and they were about to serve dinner, and I just remember there was so much commotion because you know how there's a front of the plane and then there's like bathrooms, and there's the middle of the plane and there's bathrooms, and the back of the plane and bathrooms. So it's like one of those big flights. Dude, I just remember seeing this kid sprint just right to the back. But when he passed by, all you smelled was shit. That's all you smelled. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what the hell is this, And you literally look down the aisle, man, and there was like a plot. Yes. They had to bring out, they had to clean it up, spray this stuff, put cat litter or whatever it was down on it and all this stuff. So, man. But no, that actually happened. I think it was going over to Europe somewhere. This kid, bro, just had to shit real bad. Couldn't hold it, bro. And let little droplets out going to the bathroom, man.
It sounds like the shit had already happened, so maybe he didn't need to be in a bigger rush. But anyway, who knows what happens. Who's the loudest spot caller?
John Cena.
That you're not the first person to say that. You're the funniest.
Brother, the first 8 rows here. I'm dead serious.
Really?
Even when we did Nexus, bro, 12 years ago, you can see him in the ring. Hold on. And we're just like, dude, we know. Shit. Like, you're telling everybody, But dude, literally, he talks loud.
Are there any referees that are overly loud when they say you've got 1 minute? That kind of thing.
Well, no, you kind of want that because dude, they're our time, everything, man. The refs are go-to, So you want them to be, but the good thing about those refs, man, they're so good at hiding it to where I could have him in a hold and we all could be down and he could be checking. Hey guys, 2 minutes, It's so quick and easy, but they're just loud enough for you to hear it, But I mean, Mike Chioda and Charles Robertson, man, they're fantastic.
I can't let you go. I can't end this sort of segment without asking these three. Favorite WrestleMania memory?
When I did everything, my first Mania, Rey Mysterio, Cody Rhodes went 10 minutes over. We had an 8-man tag. It was the core against Show, Kane, Santino, and Kofi. And as soon as the bell rung, I'm in there with Santino, and they turned around, looked at me, and said, "Go home." I said, "Hold on, what?" And they're like, "Go home." And Tino had this whole spot. We all had, a 15-minute match planned. You know, the next thing you know, man, after 5 entrances, it's 75 yards to the ring. That takes up 7 minutes. You know, next thing you know, man, go home, man. I kicked Santino right in his damn gut. He's like, what the hell? I said, bro, do you come back? Yeah. That happened my first Mania.
How's he settling in Impact, Santino?
He's the best, man. I love him.
Is he there for the long haul, you know, or?
He signed for a year.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be there for a definite year.
I'll give you two more. The worst abuser of spray tan or baby oil?
Bo Dallas is the worst with a water bottle. Brother, like, he would be in Gorilla and he would dump 2 bottles of water over his head, on his body, through his shirt to where he's walking out like he jumped in a pool. I mean, you're literally like, dude, what the shit, man? Like, come on, too much, way too much. But yeah, he would be the one that would be soaking wet. Who else? Honestly, he's the one that's sticking out in my head right now, man.
Yeah, it's a fine answer, man. It's a fine answer.
I'm going with Bo Dallas.
And the last one, for the older school guys, there's generally more of an answer. For the newer school guys, I don't know so much, but the most memorable backstage fight.
Honestly, man, I didn't see many, but I did see Enzo and Curtis Axel getting a little scuff on the bus.
I don't know this story.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was Enzo was playing music, you know, but it was like there was too many speakers going on. I remember Henning, man, when Henning gets in the mood, he gets in the mood. And I remember him grabbing the speaker and like tossing it up through the aisle. And then Enzo got mad, and then Joe literally was like, "Man, I shouldn't have done that. Let me go tell him I'm sorry." So Joe goes up there to apologize, but I think Enzo thought he was going to fight. And next thing you know, man, I think Enzo swung, then Joe swung, and then they're all in the chair fighting. We all had to pull them off. But yeah, I mean, it happens though. I mean, little scuffles do happen, man. You know, it's just Sin Cara, Hunico. He got in too many fights, but I always gave him the nickname Firecracker, man. I'm like, dude, you're a little firecracker, bro. But we always got along, so we never got in a little scuff. But man, I saw him get in a fight with Sheamus once in the locker room. Yeah, in the trainer's room, and we're just like, what the fuck, you know? And Hunico, man, he's strong as shit. Like, he's tough as nails too. Like, when you know you go out to like legit get in a fight with it, and you go, you know, you're about to get in a fight too, you know. But he's a tough dude, man. So, but yeah, him and Sheamus got in a little scuffle in the daggone trainer's room.
That's where wrestlers go to heel, man. As well,
right? And they're in a good spot to get hurt. So,
yeah, I suppose so. If they get hurt, then you know they're just the seconds from relief, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, we had a tiny little break there. We've got about 25 minutes or so left, so I'm picking the absolute best questions I can. And this one from Lee Valley, who came up with the "I don't give a shit about your kids" angle he had with Brock Lesnar.
Brother, that was on the fly, being honest. I had a paragraph to do a promo with, because I was doing the whole free agent thing and I needed a job and I had to fight Brock and all this stuff. And I remember I forgot my lines and I had a brain fart, man. That's just what happened. I had a brain fart because I had so many to remember, you know. And then I just remembered blurring it out, being like, you know what? I know I'm going to get my ass kicked and everyone else does too, but damn it, I've got kids and I need this job. You know. So I remember saying that. I remember Paul just looking at me, and then Paul said his line to where I'm like, oh, okay, this is where we're at. You know, and then I like jumped back on. But nah, man, all of that, like Brock wasn't even supposed to talk. It's supposed to be me and Paul. And then Brock grabbed the mic, just like, here, I got something I want to say. But the whole thing was I was supposed to get in there, and I was supposed to literally throw the line at Brock and him, like, or me cowered down, being like, because Paul Heyman's supposed to be like, hey, blah, 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 you don't want this. He's going to kill you, this and that. I cowered down, but I turned to hit him and all that stuff. But then, like, at that moment when he said that, I'm like, I should just hit him right now, you know? But then I didn't because it wasn't in the plans of it. But I wished I did, just so the crowd would have been like, holy crap, you know? And then Brock could kill me, you know? But yeah, man, that was a brain fart, man. It was just one of those things where I'm on live television. I forgot my lines, and I said, "Damn it, you better say something."
If you're not saying something, you're saying nothing, and that's the real problem. Next question sort of ties in. Oh, for God's sake, I haven't got my glasses. Humby Bone 97 has asked, "What's Brock Lesnar like backstage?"
He keeps to himself for sure, but it's like with Brock, I feel like when you do business with him a few times and he actually talks to you and gets to know you a little bit, like he'll always say hi. You know what I mean? Like I saw him walk through the hallways and he won't say a damn word to nobody. But then he'll just come up and like hit me from behind and be like, "Hey man, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm good. Nice to see you." You know, he's like, "Nice to see you too." And he'll like keep going. But like I feel like Brock's that guy, like you gotta earn his respect and keep before he'll give you his time type deal. And I mean, not that it's a bad thing, but it's just how he works, you know? Like, he's like, "Well, if I don't know you, I ain't going to have to take my time to get to know you, you know?" Yeah. He's more like, "Well, we've done business. I do know you. Hey, how you been?" type deal. Yeah.
In WWE, while you were there, was this when Brock started developing a sort of rootin' tootin' Texas accent out of the blue?
Well, I mean, I think he always had that, so that's why that he never really talked.
But he's from Minnesota, so but then he just like drops into a southern accent sometimes.
He's a country boy, though, man. You know, Minnesota's got country parts. You know, but yeah, he has a little twang to his voice. I mean, it blew my mind when I talked to Sid Vicious, and he is country.
Yeah.
To where every time, like, I guess in my dumbass mind, I expected him to be like, you know, like doing all that. But he didn't. He just was like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" I'm just like, whoa. Did not expect that to come out of your mouth.
Yeah. Were you expecting that? Like, I could half memorize it. "When they take the throat completely out." That one. I think that was something like The Undertaker or something.
I thought he was going to talk to me like that, but not at all, bro. Not at all.
We are going to move on to some fairly random stuff. And Big Asian Boy asks, "Was Heath told that his match against Kurt Hawkins would not be on TV while the cameras focused on what was going on backstage?" I don't understand if that's a reference or something.
Dude, I think that was like Great Balls of Fire or something, to where we didn't even know what was happening. They literally just said, "Heath, Myers, we're doing an impromptu match, go to the ring." And we're just like, what? Yeah. So it was during like I think Braun went through the screen or something, or it was something big happened to where they had to fill time because the workers got hurt, you know, and they literally just threw us out there. And I want to say, like, we literally said, "Let's just go and work until I sunset flip you 1, 2, 3," you know. But no, it was one of those things, like, we didn't know what the hell was doing. We were entertaining the crowd and was hoping for the best, I guess.
So, I know this sounds weird and I probably seem naive or whatever, but is it always the referee who's going to tell you, like, 1 minute? Or I always heard there was, like, a production guy, sort of, you know, on the hard camera, but behind the barrier so you couldn't see him, who would also give instructions sometimes. Is that true?
No. Sometimes you would have, like, one of the productions dude, like, say you're facing hard cam cutting a promo, he would be down at the, like, down by the guardrail, ducked down so you can't see him, and he'll be like, you know, like wrapping it up to me, like that type deal.
Yeah.
But no, there was never no one behind the hard cam just because you couldn't see that damn stuff.
No, actually, that's exactly what I meant, was sort of like in front of the barricade where you couldn't see him.
Yes.
Okay, I think I've got maybe 3 more questions, then we're going to go to the finale and we'll get as far through that as we can until our time is up. You already know I'm going to ask this. Jake Hager was recently on Storytime with Dutch Mantel, out every Friday. And Jake hinted that you were never allowed to talk about contracts with other workers or forming a union with other talent. Is this true? And do you remember anyone who tried to get a union going while you were with the company?
I mean, of course you hear talk about that crap and everything, but man, having a union and all that stuff is never going to work in the wrestling business. It's one of those things where it's like, "Hey man, you signed up for this, you got to do this." You know, I mean, would it be nice to have all those benefits and everything? Of course, you know, it'd be great, but I don't ever see it happening. I want Ryback, I think, tried something with it or just mentioned something of it, but that didn't get, taken well at all. So, but no, man, it's like, people have talked about it. It's one of those things that where, like, if you do try to push it, they'll just blackball you. You know what I mean? So yes, it could be a good idea, but I don't ever see it happening.
Was it also true that you weren't or heavily discouraged from talking about your contract with the other guys?
We all would talk about it, of course. I mean, we of course, with your buddies, you'd be like, yeah, this is what they gave me. This is what given me. I mean, come on, you got to think about this. They can tell you not to do something, but I mean, hell, there's 200 some guys on the roster, so of course they're going to be talking.
Of course there is. And the final question before we get to the big finale, in your opinion, is having CM Punk's potential drawing power worth the headaches that come with having him in the locker room?
I mean, come on now. That's an easy one. No. I mean, come on. It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I guess, he has his little mindset on whatever the hell he wants to do. But it's just like, I mean, you can always do good business and get along with people too, So, I mean, it's like with the name that Punk has, like, you don't need to worry about nothing. It's just, I guess, like, his little ego and what he wants for himself type deal. But I mean, with me, honestly, I wouldn't want the headache.
Do you right? So this is sort of like a crossover in my mind, and I can't remember if was CM Punk the leader of the Nexus while you were still in it.
Well, he was for like one day, and then me and Gabriel left, and we went to SmackDown for the core that no one barely remembers.
You were the leader of the core, weren't you?
That's what they say.
Who's they? Who was the leader of the core, if not you?
Well, I mean, of course, everyone thinks Wade was, but then Wade likes to say he was the leader of Nexus, and I was the leader of the core.
Oh, well, that's a good way of looking at things, baby. Right, we're going to go to the main event now. We've got like 15 minutes. I'm going to give you some names that you have worked with over the years, or maybe even still currently working with, and you just give me your opinion on them. I'm sure for the most part it's all going to be great stories, and if there is a good story to throw along with them, please do. And the first name is Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil, man. Hey, he is a great human being. I ain't gonna lie. Like, he is a stand-up guy, very good dude, great dad, good friend. I said, but my goodness, some of his ideas in the ring, I'll be like, bro, we can't do that. Like, no, great thinking, but you physically can't do that. You know what I mean? But he would always have some ideas, but they wouldn't be great. But but all in all, man, he is a great guy, good human being, good person. Like, I love Titus to death. Like, that's my buddy. I said, but in the ring, man, you had to reel him in for sure.
Right, let's say I'm Heath, you're Titus, and you're coming to Heath with an idea you want to go in for a match. What's a typical idea you'd have to shoot down?
I would just say no. I'm like, you stop thinking, I'll think for you.
Fine advice. Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn? Man, me and Sami, like, oh, dude, Sami's always been cool. Such a nice guy. And I remember me and Sami we were overseas, and it was, shoot, I don't even damn remember, but we went sightseeing together for like 2 days. And I remember we went to see where the Titanic was made and built, and saw, like, where it was first placed in the water, I guess it was over there. I forget where, but I remember we saw that. And then we saw, like, I forget the two countries that's like lined up, but they hated each other. And they built a legit wall, but the wall you can jump over, and the houses were still so close to where you would still have shouting, screaming arguments if you wanted to, But I forget.
I'm presuming Belfast and Ireland you're talking about, Northern Ireland and Ireland.
Yeah, probably, yeah. We were in that area then, yeah. But I just remember Sami was just like, man, I want to go sightseeing. There's so many cool things around here. I'm like, well, bro, let's go. We're at the building. We got like 5 hours before we go live. Let's go out and see some stuff. and we would just walk around and just, look at some stuff, history lessons.
You know, it's this is another one from the Jack Hager interview. Is he said it's such a shame that like the wrestling business, everybody travels at night. So you travel at night,
Yeah.
get to a new hotel, you sleep late, and then by the time you wake up, it's pretty much time to go to the building. So you don't really see any of the sights.
Brother, that happened to all of us every year we would go overseas.
Hmm.
Like there would be some times that we would get to the town, at night, but we would have a whole day to go and see like a couple things. But like I said, it was few and far between, man. It was usually travel at night, you get to the room, you sleep until 1, you get up, try to eat a little bit, get in the gym, and then you're on the bus going straight to the venue.
Next one, Willie Mack.
I absolutely love Willie Mack. And why do I love Willie Mack is because I barely knew him at Impact. All right. I barely knew him. So I got injured. I got hurt. I was out for like 11 months. That dude consistently messaged me, consistently sent me like funny videos, sent me like just pick me ups, to where me and him like bonded over just Instagram. And then once I got, back to Impact, like we just became buddies, man. He lives in Vegas. So every time we're in Vegas, I try to go out and meet up with him. And there's this bar out there at Old Vegas called the Nerd Bar. And that's his like famous spot. Like he loves that place. He goes there every time he's home. Like that's like his little hub. And I always try to meet up with him out there, and just say what's up.
Yeah, I like it that he's a good lad. I'm going Vegas this year as well, so I might have to visit there.
Nice.
Bill DeMott.
Like I said, man, he's a general. He's that on strict drill sergeant as a trainer. Like I got the tail end of Bill. Like I didn't really get like the brute upfront craziness that he brought, but I got the tail end of it to where I'm just like, holy crap, this is nuts, But like he never did anything to me to where I could be like, I hate Bill. Like he never did anything to me for me to hate him. I just know that he was a damn tough coach, man. Like I had him in football, I had him in basketball, I had him in wrestling. He's just a damn drill sergeant of a coach, and a lot of people don't have thick skin that can take that either.
Mm-hmm. Brodus Clay.
I love Brodus, bro. I've loved Brodus since I've known him in Deep South. So like he's killing it on Fox News. He's a great person. Me and him, man, I have a lot of road stories with me and Brodus. I remember one day we were traveling and we was getting in late. It was me, Brodus, Alex Riley, and I want to say Joe Henning, Curtis Axel. And I remember we pulled up to this bar / restaurant / night concert spot. Like I don't even know how to describe it. But we pull up and we go in and we sit down. We're ordering food, but all I hear is Aaron Lewis, playing, the dude from Stained. Okay, so I'm just like listening and stuff. And next thing you know, man, his ass is up on stage, acoustic guitar, playing, a little concert and everything. And here we are just watching him and eating like, whoa, this is like the coolest moment ever. I'm a fan of his. But yeah, I mean, like, and then next thing you know, Brodus went to just the download on his, like iPhone music and, all that. Went to just download a few songs, but he then bought like 4 of Stained CDs. So he has like everything of Aaron Lewis and Stained. I didn't even mean to do it. So it's like a funny inside joke with me.
Johnny Ace.
Hey, man, he gave me my job. Like, I can honestly tell you that there's a lot of people that like don't like him, but man, he was a man of his word to me. He was always cool with me. He was always good with me. Anytime I had something, I would go to him because like when it's like an unwritten rule to where, it's like an unwritten rule to where like, if someone likes you and signs you, it's like they put their brand on it, So if you mess up, they look at you like, Johnny, that's your boy. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. And anytime I had any problems or anything, Johnny, dude, he was there for me, man. He would literally he would answer any question. I would call him at any time. Like he would always just be there for me. Like I was one of his guys to where like I said, I don't have anything bad to say about him, like personally, just because he gave me my job. He gave me what's all I have around me today, and he had faith in me when no one else really did.
John Moxley.
Oh, Mox. Mox is a fun dude, man. Wild. He is strange. He's out there, but all in all, he's a good dude, good person. We partied together a lot back in the day, and it was a lot of fun. But no, Moxley is exactly what you see. Like what you see out there, that's him, bro. That's all him.
Left of center, I believe, is maybe the phrase for it. AJ Lee.
I don't really know AJ Lee that much.
Okay, we'll skip it. We'll skip it then.
Yeah.
Christian. And also, somebody wrote in, why didn't you team with Christian and you could have been the team of Christian Slater?
Hey, that actually went around a little bit when we were together.
Oh, did it really?
It never stuck. It didn't stick. But it definitely, whenever we were NXT, everyone was like, we love a tag team of Christian Slater. That did pop up some, but it never stuck though. But no, Jay's great. And the good thing about Jay, man, is that when I had him as my pro, Edge is his best buddy. So Adam would help me out too. So I had E and C coaching me type deal. So it was one of those things where I'm just like, hell yeah, I'm getting best of the both worlds. And Jay's an asshole, man. Christian is a complete asshole. He'll tell you, and all his buddies will. And it's one of those things like, if you say something stupid around him, bro, you won't forget it for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I say a lot of dumb shit. So there's still, when I see him and we hug, he'll be like, hey, man, you remember this? I'm like, God, but stop it.
I've got a few more for you. Harry Smith. David Boy Jr.
Brother. Dude, I love Harry too, man. I've known Harry, like I said, since Deep South. Harry's another odd one, man. He's out there. But he is dude, tough as nails, tough as hell, strong as hell. One of those guys to where you want on your side if you're ever in a predicament, Mm-hmm. But no, Harry's always been a great stand-up guy. Every time I see him, he smiles. He has a nice smile.
Don Callis.
Oh, Don, like I said, with Don, I got to do a little bit of business with him in Impact and everything, but we never really got to hang out, I hear he's an amazing guy, but when it comes to actually getting to know him and everything, I never got to.
Paige.
Saraya, she's cool, man. She was one of the boys, She would like to go out, have a good time. Her family was always sweet too, her mom and her brothers and everything. So, but no, man, she's one of those. She's a tough son of a bitch. I can tell you that much, man. In the ring, outside the ring, she's one of those girls that the other girls look up to in this business.
We just looking at the clock. We've got 2 more minutes worth of questions, and I'll leave you alone.
All right.
We've already mentioned Sin Cara. Yoshitatsu.
Oh shit! Oh Yoshi.
Someone told me he was the weirdest dude. Someone told me he was the weirdest dude in wrestling. Apparently, I think he's with New Japan or All Japan or something now.
Well, I don't know. I haven't saw Yoshi in forever. But what I do really remember about him, I remember we all stayed when we lived in Florida to go to FCW. We all stayed in the same apartment complex. It was the FCW spot. We all got apartments, and it was a shitty place, man. It wasn't nothing great. But we would always have pool parties on the weekends before we would go out. So I remember us having a pool party with drinking beer, we're having a damn good time, probably smoking weed a little bit. But it was just we're just having a great time. Next thing you know, Yoshi runs through the pool freaking out. Help, someone help. We're just dude, what's wrong, man? He's like, my baby locked in the room, my baby. I'm just like, shit, pop the lock. He's like, I don't know how, help. Brother, I went to his house, and all I hear is his one baby in the crib crying, but they had maybe a 2-year-old at the time that locked the door on accident. Oh, no. You know what I mean? So It was one of those things. Brother, I went in there, I grabbed one of his butter knives. I just popped the door open, Heath, thank you so much, Heath. Thank you, But, dude, it was just that honest mistake. Baby shut the door, door got locked. He freaked out. But I just I just remember his eyes were like so big, like he saw a ghost and just frantically, oh my God, help! Someone help!
Right, I've got about 10 names here, so I'm going to name them all, and you just pick one. Mark Henry, Shane McMahon, Jamie Noble, the Bella Twins, William Regal, Wade Barrett, Cody Rhodes. Out of all of those, pick one of them and one story to finish off the podcast.
Bella Twins.
Go on.
First time, I remember they literally came to Deep South. FCW. And I remember they were brand new. They were the twins, and we were all at the pool once, and they brought their mother down. So their mother's sweet as candy. I don't even know why I picked this. It just came to my head. But I am still unofficially the first professional wrestler that the Bella Twins' mother ever met. And she still, whenever I see her, and like if I do see her, I give her a hug, and she'll be like, "You're still the first one I met," Like she reminds me about it. So it's pretty sweet and cool. But yeah, man, their success is growing so much too, man. They're kicking ass and everything.
Yeah.
And hell, Wade Barrett. I'm gonna mention another story. We got a minute, right?
Of course we do. Of course we do.
I remember we were so pumped at NXT, so damn pumped. Like, oh my God, we're finally making it. We're making it to TV. Yes, And we would never celebrate until it happened. You know what I mean? So the day that it happened, I remember we all met it was either my room, I think it was my room, because me and PJ used to room together. And I remember we all were in there. We're lighting up cigars, we're drinking beer. We're like, hell yeah, this is great. Fuck right, man, we made it. Next thing you know, fire alarm. Woo! 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 Brother, Wade, I guess, didn't understand, like, if there was a fire, like, it comes on in that specific room. He thought it's going to come on everywhere. And he literally like, oh, shit, mate. Oh, my God, we're screwed. The fire alarm's coming off. The sprinklers will come on. What if it rains on Undertaker and he's in the bed, man? It's our fault. Like, he started freaking out, man. And I'm laughing. We're all cracking up. We're all trying to fan the shit, and all that stuff. Next thing you know, we hear boom, 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 boom. We're like, oh, shit. I look out the peephole. I just see a leather jacket and a bald head. I'm like, damn. I'm like, boys, it's security. We're fucked, This they knew. I look again, and then I just see looking right at me. It was Ryback. And I'm like, oh, guys, never mind. We're okay. I opened the door. He walked in. He was like, man, your fire alarm's going off. I'm like, motherfucker, you don't think we hear this shit? But that was another funny story in there, too, though. But yeah, that actually happened our first day making it to TV and being like, damn it, they can't take that away from us. Now we're actually on it, But then that night it kind of ruined it but made it better. But it was funny. But yeah, it was just a fun little story.
Oh, Heath, honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. I'm going to wrap up the podcast, but before I let you go, give us some plugs. Have you got T-shirts out, social media, anything you've got?
Yeah. Honestly, man, I'm simple. I literally have, my social media is Twitter and Instagram. That's all I got. If you try to find me on other stuff and people say it's me, it's not. I got Twitter, I got Instagram, and it's Heath with the XXII on there. I have the blue check mark. The tattoo, Roman numerals, XXII. So my name and then XXII. I got that on Instagram and Twitter. And then, Pro Wrestling Tees. I got my own T-shirt shop, with some old babies and everything on there. I'm starting a podcast called Heath's Happy Hour on the Major Marks website, the Wrestling Pod. And honestly, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going with it and trying to make people laugh and have a good time. So, yeah.
When's that starting? When's the podcast starting?
It actually started last month. We put out one episode, and I hope it did all right. But we're doing one episode a month, and it's going to be just an hour a month. Pretty much just so I can get the damn hang of this shit. Because, it took me 30 minutes just to open my computer and charge it and figure out how to do that. Because when it comes to technology, I suck.
Dude, I'm exactly the same. I started this 2 years ago, and like a webcam and whatever, and now it's like mission control here on the Starship Enterprise, all these buttons glowing at me. You will get the hang of it eventually, let me tell you. Dude, listen, thank you so much for coming on for so long as well. I'll let you go. I know you've got a million things to do today, so thank you, Heath, for coming on. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you whenever it happens again. Cheers, Heath.
Awesome. Thanks, my man.